Thing is
I think
on.
live stream. So I think live stream is started, and YouTube has connected. So I can share my screen now. Um, yeah, I think I should clear things up actually before I start this. Days. Okay, let me. Hey, okay, where are you guys? Maria is not here. Can someone talk so I can hear you?
Good evening.
Okay, let me see if I can take this link and paste it there. No one is talking. Abi, something is wrong with my stuff.
Hello.
Okay, now I'm here. Okay, it's good to have you guys here. I think someone needs to be muted. Can you all mute yourself until you want to talk? And yeah, I'll fix the meeting GTC link thing. All right. I've just been like focused on work all through today. That I didn't take time to change the link earlier. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So the last time, am I sharing my screen yet? I don't think so. I'll share soon. The last time when we were discussing, we did introduction to CSS. We did basics of styling and yeah, basically how to define a CSS rule, how the syntax works basically. Also, different kinds of styles and how to different kind of selectors. All right. So today, I think what I would like us to do today, this is just an hour class because I have a train leaving in 2 hours, I would think. And so I'll have to try to meet up with that. So I want us to do more of a hands-on thing. From last class, I wanted us to go like try to style the form we made in previous two classes, to style it to look like a very very nice thing, but we didn't have the time to do that. So maybe it's something we can do today. Start that form and see how it goes. Also, something else I wanted to talk about is that I've realized that not all of us follows the class as well as others. Like there are people that are being left behind. So I want you to know that you're not alone. And then what I'm going to do about that is that we would have non-compulsory classes just for people that feel like they are not learning as fast as others, and then you would have time to actually like ask any question, and we'll go over the things we've learned as many times as you want, just so that you get it clearly. So we can probably do one tonight when I'm on the bus to Munich, because I'll be in the bus for like 15 hours. So we can do it if it is comfortable enough. I'll just post a link, and if you're online, you can join it. So it's not compulsory for anyone. All right. How about they code the job, Tony? Okay. Don't just got me food when I'm supposed to be teaching. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry for the distraction. Yeah. So without further ado, let me know if you like it. If you like to be included, maybe I'll just send you, or maybe I'll create a calendar invite just specifically for you guys. So if you want to join the non-compulsory class, just maybe send me a message on the Slack. So I will just like not distract every and not post directly on the general channel to disturb every other person. So without any further ado, let's get started for today. And as usual, this is like the second class in a row that I'm teaching without preparing for it. So, but hopefully, it doesn't suck as bad. So, I'll share my screen. How do I do that? Okay, just share only code sandbox. Oh, I should share. Tools span. I could share a window. Yeah, I could share this browser. So when I research, you can look at it. Can you see my screen? Can you any of you unmute and let me know if you can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your
Yes.
screen.
Yes, we
Oh,
can see.
perfect. Okay, guys, I need your communication. When I ask question, I want people to ask, and then probably you can type in the message if you can talk as fast. Is that right? So that I don't feel like I'm talking to myself all of the time. Anyways, so let's go to Sandbox, and soon we'll introduce like working with a code editor. I've been trying to use this code sandbox to teach you guys a lot so that we don't have to worry about how to make create files on our local system, set up Git, and deploy so our team lead will see. So that's why we've been using code sandbox all this while. But I think like in next couple of weeks, we'll introduce working in our local file system and Git too. So, but yeah, we'll see. So I'd want to get the form we worked with last time. Let me see if this is the one. Oh, perfect. This is the one. So yeah. If there's noise in my background, let me know. So I'll see what I can do about it. So on the last time I taught you how you can add a CSS file to your HTML, but that's just one out of two ways of adding CSS to your HTML, right? So you can add CSS by an external style sheet, basically. So you can like how we did, like create a style.css and link it to your HTML, right? With the link tag. But we can also use an element called style. There's an element called style, right? That you can just use and put your style directly in your HTML, right? And then the third way is that every element itself has an attribute called style that you can provide the style directly. So we're going to like try those out. So we're going to do a miss and match of those. It might be a little bit confusing, but let me know if it's confusing for you, so that we can change that. Also, if you remember the last time I talked about specificity. Oh my god, I can't pronounce this word for the life of me. Oh, you guys know what I mean. Let me see.
Specificity.
Yeah,
I want
you
to
know
find
what you
another
mean.
word for it. Apparently, my tongue is not made to pronounce it. What's
Or
what is
precise.
another? Right, precisely. Specificity. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but it's just that the right jargon in CSS is speaks whatever specific. Um, the noun, or I would guess as a noun or an adjective, or specificness means, right? Since my tongue couldn't actually like wrap its head around it. So I told you the ID has like more importance. I think importance is right what I'll be using. Has more importance, like varied other styles applied in other ways, more than classes or the ones applied through attributes or the ones applied through just the elements tag, right, in your CSS. But the ogapatapata of them all is the one the internal style, like the style that is applied directly as an attribute to that element or varied every other one, right? So, say for example, we can style this H1, just this H1 alone, by just saying the style. If we specify this style here, we provide just a string, and then we can basically change anything that we want to change here. We can say the color is red. Yeah, I don't know why I like red. So you see that this changes, and then if we can add our style tag, and then I think style goes into the body or wherever. I think it goes anywhere actually. You can put style anywhere. So let's say we have a style opening here, right? And then inside this style element, we can add our CSS rules. So we can say all our H2, maybe let's say, do we have H2 here? Okay, just target labels. So let's say all our labels should have a color of red too. And you will see that our label change to red. And you're seeing that this is just a style itself. Like inside that particular element, you can write your CSS, right? So that's another way to write styles by just putting your CSS inside a style tag. You don't need external style for this, so you can write anything you want, right? And I think that yeah, this style actually, right? I think that you can actually like even put it inside element actually, right? And it will still work as usual. Say I'm not putting it directly inside body, I just put it directly inside the style. And what you would notice is that if if there was a label outside of this form, I think that it's not going to affect it. So let's try to do a label for nothing because I'm not going to put anything here and I say label. I do not think that this should be able to bleed out to it. Actually, it does bleed out. So it turns out that wherever you put the style, it's going to affect everything, right? So even though this style is within this form here, right, it still affects this label that is outside of the form. So that's good to know. I didn't know that. Okay, so we can take that out and we continue. We'll move the style back to close to the form. I'm not sure if I really want to continue with nesting this, having this style inside the body or with a CSS file. I think I really prefer having it outside the CSS file. And I never really do this in practice actually because I like to keep things differently. But just so you know that this is possible to be done, and then you can overwrite your style in line to like with the style attribute this way, right? So I'm just going to make a style of CSS file and then link it style CSS, and I'm going to link it here. I'm just going to put a very tiny style here to just remove a margin. And do I want to do that? Let me just do something just to like just test that this is linked when it's linked to the CSS. And yeah, so we've created this file now, added a rule that should affect everyone. Remember, this is the universal selector we discussed in last class, right? So can anyone tell me why this style is not affecting the page? I think I asked this question the last time.
Because you've not linked it yet to the HTML file.
Exactly. Yeah, Tony just said the same thing, but Tony wouldn't. Also, if you want to, okay, I think you can answer. Okay, guys, if you want to answer a question, you don't need to raise your hands again. You can just unmute yourself and answer it when I ask. I think that's more, that works more. And Tony, turn on your audio so they can hear you too. Okay. Yeah. Tony's eating and I'm super hungry. Okay. Yep. Let's go. Let's check our YouTube streaming. It's still working, which is perfectly fine. Is it saying we recommend that you use a higher stream rate? My dear, I'm sorry. It's not me that is controlling it. Probably I'll fix that later. Okay. Let me see to it so at least the video wouldn't look like distorted. Yeah, so I haven't linked it, which you guys got correctly, and I just need to like put a link here and select the CSS one and just change this to styles.css. And if we take this, it should affect this, and then we can remove that. Yeah. So what I really like to do is normally when I want to like design a form or something is have like a design that I look at to actually like compare what I want to build, not just like build it out of my head. Even though I think that if I should build this from my head, it's going to be like a good one, but I don't want to risk that. So what we would do is like I normally go to this site called Dribble with tripleb.com to look for design inspirations. So we can do I need to sign in? We can look at forms, search for forms, for example, and we should see very nice appealing forms, right? That we can actually like design ours. In relation to, I'm looking for something with a very nice background, and let's look at this first one. I don't know, this looks simple. I'm not signing up. Well, I won't see it if I don't sign up. What the fuck? Okay, I can't sign up with Google. No, let's try that. And I lost my search, so I have to search again. Forms. And this again. So this look pretty cool. I mean, it's not super expensive. It's not super crazy, but then yeah, you get it. It just looks like basic. I would say. So we're going to combine a lot of things that we had in last time, right? We had last time to do this, and then we'll not go overboard. I think we're not going to like add an icon here. We could. It shouldn't be much. We have to use an SVG for that. But then that means I have to like let you people know what's SVG, but I've not discussed that before. We could add like an icon library, the CSS file, and probably use that. But I think we can skip that particularly. And I also see that we're going to use placeholder, right? And I will tell you what that means in a moment. So without any further, let's just get started. Yeah. So any questions so far? Time runs very fast. Okay, no question. Let's continue. Yeah. So from the design we have here, there's no title for the form, and so just get rid of our own title in our form. So let's get rid of sign up for S Machina, and what we're going to do is, okay, let's fold this back. Let's go to the body, and the body has like a gray background, a light gray background. So we're going to set the background color to something like light gray, right? If we save this, it's not like the light grayish we want. And then this doesn't let us change this color here, but we can change it when we inspect this in the other tab. So let's open this in a new tab. And when we open our developer tools, we can hover on the body and can get the color and change it to something that we like. So we can move this color around and change it, which is why developer tools actually like cool, and it's actually one of my best places to develop CSS. Sometimes when I don't know how the style will look, I normally come here and keep playing around with something that I like, then I copy it to my file at the end of the day. So let's just move this to something like this. Could we make this bluish? Yeah. Yeah, and I'll take this background color here, and I just copy and put it in ours, right? So we'll replace this with this, and this look a little bit cool. And we're going to try to like center things, right? Like move things to the center, basically. If you look at this form here where we're copying from, you see that everything is just like centered within this document. Top the vertical and horizontal axis actually like well centered, right? So to do that, there is something I'm supposed to teach you guys in time, but I would teach you guys. I will have to dedicate a day to this. This is actually like CSS modules. Um, and one of them is called grid, or I think in this case I'll use just flex, right? So if I say to display flex, it means that it means that basically things are displayed like in line with each other, basically. Not necessarily in line because it's actually like a display in line actually. But what it means is that it gives us like extra capabilities such as like decide how to where to place things. So we can move things to the end, to the left, and all. But we'll discuss more of that soon. But when you do this in Chrome, if you open your developer tool, you see this kind of tiny dot here. If you click on it, you can see that you can decide how to add more CSS to this. And you don't normally have to do this. You can write it by hand anyways. But normally you would see something like a align content. Let me see if there is one that says center. No, this says, what is this? Align content center. But what I want is align item center, right? And then justify content to center. Perfect. So I also want this to have a width of 100 view height, 100 view width, and then a height of 100 view height. So I know that I've done some crazy things, and I'm going to explain right now. So okay. So one thing is I've used display, right, that we haven't done before, right? And there are a couple of different displays in JavaScript, in HTML. By default, most elements are display block, right? So if I change this to display block, you see that this is how it should be by default. A form is a normally display block, div too. But text elements like paragraphs, spans, quotes, and there's strong or EMs and Is, they're normally like inline. They are by default inline, right? And what it means by inline is that if you place another inline element with it, they are going to be on the same horizontal lane, right? They're going to be on the same vertical horizontal lane. But if there are block elements that if you place a sibling under it, they are going to be just on the next row, just below each other. They're going to just be packed below each other. But if all of them are inline, they're going to be on the same row, just one after each other. Right. With flags, you can control how you want this to be. You can decide if something has to be aligned in columns or aligned in rows, right? So that's why and also the flags come with extra capabilities that you can shift things around. You can say how many space you want a particular element to take, but we're not going to go dive that deep today. We're just going to use the ability to let us center things, right? Which is if we said that this body would be displayed in a flex way, then we can now say, okay, align the items. Align items means basically the vertical axis, where does it place things? Is when I say place it at the center, and we have different values here for this align center. We have something like baseline, and baseline means like in line with text content in there. There are a couple of other ones, like end. When I align it to the end of the vertical axis, center will be center of the vertical axis, right? And by default, normally like a start, which is the top, right? And it's also the same thing. Flex end and flex start is the same thing as end and start, right? It's just that flex start and flex end is specific to flex, right? But with on set of CSS Grid, they were trying to make everything has like the same name, right? So for CSS Grid, you can use start and end too, right? So that's by the way. So let's just make this center, and we'll dedicate like a day to teach Flex and CSS Grid. They are very very useful, and they are part of the modern CSS that makes life very very easy. And I think all of you would appreciate that. Then for next styles we haven't used before is width. Not just that we have used width before, width and height, but the difference is that we haven't used this unit before, right? And I think I haven't even taught you guys what unit in CSS means, right? So before, what we normally use when we design is pixels, which normally the units are normally like you will see px, right? Which will make this in like very tiny. It's already overflowing, right? So this is normal the default we normally use in CSS, right? But if you click on this tiny dot here, right, you will see different units that are used in CSS, right? Where this first one means pixel, that's like, pixel is normally like a unit of a visible unit on your screen, right? So, and that's why when you buy a phone, like or maybe when you take a picture, it's like how many pixels is your phone, or when somebody says their TV is 4K, what do they mean by 4K? He's trying to like say the amount of the pixel, basically the pixel density based on the considering the width and dimension. So you could have a very very large TV, and that TV is not 4K. You could have a tiny TV and it's 4K. And for example, most of our screen can have 4K. They can render 4K, but and that's because they have like many tiny pixels. They can represent pixel very tiny in that particular space, right? And maybe this is actually like a good day, like maybe like a good thing for another class to teach like a visual unit in CSS. And also like I think pixel is a very very fancy one in relation to also like display qualities and things like that. And then you see CM, which is like a very very, very 100 CM would be like if you ever used a ruler before. And then let's set this back to view width. Let's look at others. So there is also things like inches, right? So if you're very American, you can use inches, but believe me, people don't ever use all these normal units that you use like in measuring your things in daily life. People don't hardly use it in this because pixel directly translates to what we see on the screen, and it's easier to use. So things like pixel, I think this means like a pico or something, and points. This means point, and it's also like a visual unit too, but it's not as popular as pixel and many of these. But then we have EMs and REMs, right? I've forgotten what EM means. I've used them actually lately, but I've totally forgot what it means. I think EMs means like they are relative unit in TSS. EMTSS meaning oh come on, why don't you just say, they wouldn't even say what it means. Oh, they say ephemeral unit. Aha. So normally EMs and the REM are they are very very useful, and they're actually like new to CSS compared to other things that have been here for forever, right? And then EMs are relative units in the sense that they relate to the font size defined by the nearest parent, right? So if the font size of the topmost parent or the nearest parents, basically. When I mean nearest parents is like if it is nested inside memory, if the particular element we are dealing with is nested in many elements, whoever defined font size, like in that hierarchy, the font size is what the M's are going to be used as a unit of that as the unit of that M. So M, when you say one M, you're representing that one font size, right? Then REM on the other side is that it's going to use the font size that is defined on the root of the HTML, normally on the body or the HTML itself. right? So when you do like font size at the top, that the font size is always going to be 14 pixel. Then whenever you say 1 rem, it's going to translate to 14 pixels, right? So then you now have view width and view height, which is what I use here, right? And view width and view height means like the amount of width that the view gives you would be the width that is. So this is a relative unit, right? So it changes. So what you're going to see here, if I pick this out, right? If I pick this particular thing out and hover on this body, right, you're seeing by the bottom left that the width is currently 1072, right? And if I try to shift this, if I try to move it around and come back again, you're seeing that it's now 940, right? And how you're going to know that this is adapting the particular styles that we set here, the width 100 view width, is when you go to like computed, right? When you go to the computed, you're going to see that the width is 940, right? And we're seeing that the whole screen here is 942. That's why this is the button. And there's more ways I can prove that to you. Is that if we click on this button, which means like to be able to set your width and height however you want. And then this particular one is width. So if we change this width here to 1000, our width here, if you look at here, the computed one is 1000, right? So that due width, right, is always going to be in relation to the amount of width that the browser has to render. So if I should stretch this out, right, it's going to change too. And the same goes to the view height, right? But then how the view width actually works is different. It's kind of no, it's different or anything. I mean, like, imagine that you have the whole screen, the whole width of the screen, but then that's sliced into 100, right? So when I say 100, it means take out the whole width, right? When I say 80 view width, it means take up 80% of the view width, right? So 80 view width is literally like 80% of the view width, right? And then when I say 100 view height, it means take 100% of the height. So what I just made basically is to make this body to take the whole screen, basically, no matter if it is a mobile device or if it's a desktop device or whatever device it is. So if you come to this responsive side and change this to work to be on let's change this to iPhone 12 Pro Max. So this is the dimension of iPhone 12 Pro Max, really, in relation to a browser. And you see that our form still is centered, right? It's centered top to horizontally and vertically, right? Because the body is made in such a way that it fits the current width and height. So it's always going to be centered within any kind of screen that we use it on. So this is quite cool, right? So this is what view width and view height is doing here. And if we should reduce this width to 50 view width, right, it's going to be 50% of the view width. And you see that suddenly that this body, you see the region of the body from the purple side to the end of the purple side, it takes half already. If we should increase this, right, to 80%, you see that it's taking like 80%, right? And we'll get it to 100. And you see that it takes all of them, so which is quite cool. Yeah, so I think that explanation for visual units is actually very good enough, relative one. We will do more of REMs later when we do more complicated CSS, but also I think you guys can actually like read it up because it's one of the things in the links that I sent to you. Like, for example, if you come to this link CSS, I've not checked it before, but I think it should be here. When you read them, I think they should be here. Probably in this layout side. Yeah, I'm not sure, but if not, if they are not here, I will find a good link for that would explain those things to you. All right, so let's keep going. We have 20 more minutes. Time runs so fast. Oh, any questions so far? You can unmute yourself and ask. Right. Oh, okay. Also, feel free to interrupt me. I could be talking and you like say excuse me, and I will stop and you ask your question. So you don't have to always like wait for me to ask if you have a question. And I think we have like a very high turn up today, which is very good. Yeah. And our YouTube is still working. Perfect. Okay, so let's go back to our website. And
Um,
yeah,
excuse me. I want to. When you talked about REM and M, I think
yeah.
there was when I read of the they have like how they used to calculate it. Like 10 REM is not equals to 10 M. I think M is like smaller than REM. Then I didn't know about this calculating in relation to the parents, because they said maybe if the normal pixel is 14 pixel, then REM will be like 20 something pixels equals to 1 REM. You get that? I I'm just saying maybe they calculate it, but from what I read, I'm just asking, is it that they calculate it according to pixel and also according to the parent element?
So okay, I'll explain that more right now because I think I was personal broader confusion, right? Which is I said what I said was, say for example, and say we specify on this body the font size is 10 pixel. Right? You see, it reduces up basically all the fonts, right? Because if we should look at say we look at, let's pick one element here, for example a label, right? If we look at this label, right, and say let's change the font size, and this font size we say it's going to be 1 rem, right? And in the computed part, this 1 rem is going to be 16 pixel, right? And if we should change this to EMs, one EM, then the computed part is basically 10 pixels. So it's referring to the nearest parent, which is the body in this particular case, right? To overrule this particular thing, I think we specify basically what the font size would be on HTML. I would think that this is font size. I would also think, let's see. So font size, we set this to 10 pixel on the HTML. If we do 1 rem here, and you see it doesn't change anymore, right? Because rem refers to the root, right? That the difference between rem and em is that one is root and one is em. So sorry, one is root and one is not root. Basically, the one that is not root refers to the nearest parent, and that's why. Okay, I would do more now, right? So if I come here on this div, which is a parent of this label, and say that font size is actually 16 pixel, right? It doesn't affect it. And when it doesn't affect it is because this label is still referring to the rem. That's the rem at the HTML top. But if I should change it to EM, right, now it refers to the nearest parent, which is that div. Right, does that make sense?
It's too confusing, but yeah, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I will pick a very good day to explain this more. It's actually very, very simple, but yeah, I think it can be a little bit confusing. Right. Yeah, so let's refresh this and continue. Okay, okay, back to that. So this is what we have, and then what can we do to style it to make it look like what we have here? First and first is in this form, they don't have labels. I think the only place they have label is in this password, right? So we're going to like make it look almost the same, right? So we're going to start by getting rid of label, and this is not the best. I think every form input should have a label, but yeah, we are trying to make something look good. So we'll go to our let's start with our simple inputs, for example, and the first one here is this full name. So we can remove this full name basically, but then we will do something. So if you look at this form here, you're seeing that in the inside there's a gray text, right? It's not a text inside there, but it's telling you what it's required of you, even though it doesn't have a label. And this is done with an attribute called placeholder. So it's something that hold a place for something. It's not really that value. It's just there to hold a place for it. So we now see here that input here, say placeholder is equal to full name, right? When we save this, you see that that gray text appears here. But when I try to type, it does not get in my way, right? So this is pretty cool. And then we can get rid of the label and do it for other ones too. Um, so we do placeholder equal to email, and then in the password we also say placeholder is equal to password and get rid of the label. Right. When we save this, our form starts looking kind of how we want, right? And also in this particular field set, they aren't using they are not using a field set. I think we can actually like override the style of this field set, but I'm not sure why would do that. Anyways, we can basically use I don't even know. We can just put like a title there and get rid of it, or do we want to keep it? I don't know. But this design is, I think, is not sitting with the current over this current design here. Or we could actually like change it to a select. And this is a good time for me to introduce select to you, right? So, oh, good. So let's press that way select. So basically, select is when you want to click, when you click on a form, and then it's like you choose your state where you're from in Nigeria, and then you click on it, and you see like some kind of drop down arrow that telling you like something. There's a drop down here, and you click on the arrow, and you see like list of details, and you can go down and choose Abia, right? So we can do that for this particular one, and the syntax for select is normally so I think they can actually help us to or complete it. So there's a select, which is just like the form, the particular element itself, and we can give it a name of gender. So it's normally used in our input. So the gender will be the value when it is submitted, and then every select have options, and options are the things that you see in your drop down, right? So we specify the options that we want to have, and the first option would have a value of male, and then what we want to be shown will be a male, and then the second one would be female. Yeah. But let's put this up in reverence of International Women's Day that was celebrated tomorrow. Let's put the female first. Yeah. So when let me comment out these ones, and yeah, if we refresh this, now you see just the female one, and when we click on it to see a drop down, this doesn't look very appealing, but yeah, would manage to like use that. So I would think that it's also be nice to do something like put a label somewhere, right? So probably should put a label for gender, right? And then we'll say the label is gender, right? So this looks a little bit good, and yeah, we can get rid of these ones since we're not using them anymore. And let's get rid of the input we have here. I think the mistake I made is that I should have cloned this so that people should still have access to it later on for the first class. But I already made a mistake and I'm already editing it directly, which is not good. But next time I should try to like fork it. Normally, if you click here, you fork it. You can like it means you duplicate it and then you can edit it again, and the last one wasn't affected. And it sounds like the cursing word, or not like the bad word, but they sound the same basically. And it's normally this particular word is used a lot in programming. So when somebody say it's just like maybe that it's not really what you're thinking that they're saying. So and for date of birth, I think probably we should leave date of birth as it is, right? There's no date style here. But if we should, I think this form design that we picked is actually a very, very pretty bad one. But yeah, what to do? Okay. So they also have this file here. So this is how they actually like made a default styling for the file picker, and they have also like a number for specifying phone, right? To be honest, I don't really like this one that I picked. Just thinking of it now, I don't think I like it so much. But yeah, maybe what we could do is not to style everything in our site to fit the design because they don't have all of the elements. But what we could do is, I think this is a good time to actually like fork this. So I'll fork this into a new one, and the last one wouldn't be affected. Good. So now I could continue editing it here because I think I'm going to change this like by a lot. So we're going to keep a profile picture, but we're going to remove the resume, right? Let's remove the resume. And let's get rid of the BR. I think we can remove all the BRs now since we can actually like do our spacing by our settings. We have access to CSS now, and also remove these text areas. We don't need this. We can remove the text areas, and also phone number is part of it. So we can keep phone number. We can remove favorite color. Okay. And also get rid of all the BRs while I'm at it. No, this view. Then I think I can just select all of them and delete all of them at once. That's easier. Let's save that and see what we got. And now everything is clumped into one place, right? And I think we can do this. I'm not sure about this date because styling date, making a custom design for dates can be a little bit too hard. Yeah, but I think we can do something with that. If I'm not sure you can specify placeholder for date. You can say date of death. Date of death. I'm not sure it will be rendered there. Yeah, it doesn't get rendered because they normally show you this format instead. So placeholder wouldn't do any good job. So we can get rid of these for now and focus on easier ones. So we'll have gender, and then can get rid of our portfolio, the label for portfolio website, and move it inside inside a placeholder, right? And get rid of the label. And then we also have profile picture. This one, we're going to do a very, very complicated design here if we have time today, but I think it will be cool to see. Then for phone number, we can move it to also be a placeholder, right? Placeholder equals to phone number. And what else remains? I think the only thing I have label now is our profile picture and the gender one. So we can work with this perfectly, right? We'll open this in a new tab and we continue on the browser, right? And this is also something I used to do a lot, like when I'm developing like an application by myself, right? Is that I normally do everything by the browser because it's easier to see what you're doing, right? So you have a feedback loop that is very, very fast. So you're changing it and you're seeing it on the browser, and then you keep doing it. And when you have something that works, you can move it to the file, right? So I would encourage you to do this too if it works for you. I think a lot of people like it, and for me, it works pretty well. So now, our body is the full screen and centers the elements it has, and the only element it has currently, if you look here, is our form, right? So our form contains every other thing, right? So we can go ahead and style our form, and later on we can move it to our file. So in this place, right, in this browser tab where you see styles and all, you can click on this to just add a new style for you, and it will say form. So you see that it's selecting that particular element that is selected here. So you can start styling it inside your browser. So we can say that this form too should be because I want it to have like even spaces around the element. So we can display it flex, and what you will see is that it will now group each element horizontally. You see that everything is now like basically on the same line. Everything is now like displayed flexing line, right? So what we want is to change the direction of the flex to go to I think column, right? So when we change it to column, right, everything is now on top of each other, which is what we want. But also we get that extra attribute to be able to like be able to put spaces in between it. And then I think we have what is called gap. There should be a gap, no? I think gap works for flex too. Yeah. So with flex, with gap, we can specify the gaps between the elements, right? And without this, we can also do like we can use just the we can use I think we can use align items too. No, not align items. We can use align content. I'm not sure of these. I think they should normally work for grid. Justify content, yes. No, not this. Okay, anyways, we'll put the gap back and we'll put the gap to be 1 rem. If this is much, we'll change it later, right? So this looks good for me for the form, right? Just have like this this looks very good for me. And then if you look at these buttons, you see that these buttons are stretching out to fill the form, right? So which doesn't look very good. And also you see that things actually like kind of crumbling on themselves. The things are becoming like tinier, right? But we'll fix that in a moment. It's because the flex kind of just like, since we made it to be column, everything is stretching out to take the 100% of the weight, right? But if we say that this should be if we reverse it, then I think we can do align items. We say center. Yes, all we have to do here is align items start, but this looks a little bit ugly to me. Yeah, but this is fine. So it doesn't make the button take the whole width anymore. So we can work with this, right? So now that we are this looks okay for our form element, we can just copy this here. So we can just highlight it here. So highlight the styles that we did here, copy it with Command C or Control C, go back to our style here and say form and paste it inside, paste the styles that we copied inside, right? And remove this extra column here, and you see that the style has affected it, which is very good, right? So you don't have to do one style, write it in, and then go and check it in your browser, come back and check it again, right? And then what would we want to style is we want to style the input. Like we can get all the input and style them once, right? At once, right? And looking at these, we're seeing that inputs have like a moderate size. Then they're not just like very tiny. They're sized and their font is a little bit larger. They have also like a kind of a grayish outline with them. So we have identified a few things. Their font size, right, is larger than what we see, right? And also it's larger than every other thing on there. Like this one here is not the same size. It's kind of a little bit up. Let's say like 18 pixel or so. And then we're seeing that outline around it, which could be the border, right? So if we go with that and we go to here, we can say, okay, let's get the input. So as usual, we can just take this. If we click on this thing here, you can see this arrow here at this top here. You can click on this, and you're seeing that it says select an element in a page to inspect it, right? So you just click on this, it turns blue, and then you can take your arrow and click whatever on this or whatever is on the page, and you see that is selected. That particular element is selected, right? And since this is selected, we can now come and click this plus to style it. And it says input with the ID of name, but this means that it's going to only affect input with the ID of name. But what we want to affect is particularly every input, right? So we'll remove that to be only just input, and then we're going to say, let's say width, for example, and we say the width should be, I don't know what to do with it, 400 pixel, no, let's do 300 pixel. 300 pixel, and then we're going to do a little bit of padding around it so it looks very good. So let's say 5 pixel padding, looks good. Maybe top and bottom, but 10 pixel by the side. So this is spaced out. So don't know why my mode is entering work mode. Anyways, but I remember I taught you people what padding and margin does. So padding is normally like the space between the content and then the border, right? The border of the element. Which, if we look at the computed side, we are seeing that the padding here, the 5 and 10 we specified, is taking space is here. That's the padding. Then the border is outside of that. Then outside of the border is the margin, basically. And this particular thing I use here, 5 pixel, 10 pixel, is a shorthand. It's a shorthand for, if I click on this arrow down here, you see what it really does. What it really does is that it set the padding top to 5 pixel, padding right to 10 pixel, padding bottom 5 pixel, and padding left to be 10 pixel. Oh fuck, I'm out of time. What the fuck? Is this how 1 hour is? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Our time is up. Okay. We're not able to finish.
Let's continue.
I should continue. The thing is that I have a train to catch.
Shit.
Tony, when is my train again? 7 what? 7 o'clock?
7:03.
7:03. Oh shit, guys. So yeah, I can't do that. I need to shower and all. But guys, I'm sorry. Even though like the time is already up, but I'm sorry we couldn't cover a lot of things. But I think we can build upon this next time on next
Yeah,
class.
sorry, I have a reservation. I think you're a bit fast. You know.
Agreed.
So,
Okay. Yes, this fastness thing. I think. Yeah, I don't even know how to say the ideas. It's probably because I have to train to catch, but I've been fast all through the lessons, and I'll really work on it. I'll meditate all through this weekend and think about not being very fast.
Okay, I have a suggestion. Now, given
Okay.
the fact that Kingsley is a fast speaker naturally, it's nothing that he didn't build it today on this call. Neither was it something that he had built over time.
Please,
So I think,
I have a very simple question.
Mari, I think Godspeed was talking.
Okay.
yeah. So in order to help everyone, to place everyone in this class, I think you could do some sort of agenda. You know how agendas work for meeting, where you break down today's class and we take it bit by bit, and there's some form of resource that you can go look out while you're breaking things down.
Yeah,
So say
right.
today now you work with forms, you could go break down how you're going to approach the class, and you will attach the reason and the relatable links, maybe from MD and Co. So while someone is unable to catch what you're saying, you can just go to MD and read and brush up. The
Yeah.
class is recorded. I think everyone you can still be speaking as slow as you can. Just pace yourself.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think we're sending the link before so people read ahead. But I also think that it's harder to read, like if you have not got the class. So sending getting links, having links to read after the class actually good also, and also like the breakdown that may be harder to do, but I think it's something that we must do, right? And I know that it's hard for me to work on this speed of my speech. But I'll try to be very, very mindful of it. Godspeed, I'll work with you on that to see how I can tailor this teaching experience. Okay. Maria, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes, please. The CSS and the HTML stuff on Sandbox, like how did you link the two stuff together? That's down to ask.
Okay. So if we go back to here, right? You see that there are files here, basically. How do I toggle this on again? Yeah, basically, you see that there's index HTML here, and then there's .css here. They're in the same place, right? So how I link it is that we go to our index HTML here, and then on the head tag of the HTML here, we put this link here. Do you see what I'm highlighting?
Yes.
So we put this link here with a href that points to styles.css, which is what we have here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going, if I get on the bus and the bus is quiet and nice, I might send a link, ask people around online that if you guys want to like just go over the things we've taught. We're not going to teach new things, so people that don't join don't miss out on anything, right? So I'm going to try that. If it doesn't work, then I'll probably try tomorrow evening after we ski in the morning. I'll try to do it in the evening. So yeah, yeah. But well, I'm going to really look at the fastness and thing and how to carry everybody along. Yeah, I'm going to work on that. I promise you guys. Does anyone have a question?
I think someone's hand is up.
I think that's Chinyere. Chi, do you have a question?
I asked her question.
Oh, you asked her a question.
No, I
Okay, you ask. Oh, that's why she said thank you. Oh, okay, cool. All right. So I'll see you guys either later tonight or tomorrow, right? So for a couple of you, not all of you, and I think maybe we should have a class tomorrow, and that tomorrow